Well, let's film the end of this and keep going.
Okay.
All right. I actually hit record before I came over here. We've been recording all this.
All right.
Nice. So. I'm going to prep some Brussels sprouts for our braised goat shanks. Because while we're waiting for those to dry, we gotta do something. I don't know what's in focus, what's not, but we'll find out.
We happen to have these goat shanks that were.
Yeah, we had goat shanks in the freezer from our friends at Windy Hill Goat Farm. So this is the recipe out of book number 2 of Eat Like a Viking. Well, let me find the actual recipe for you nice folks. Because again, it's inspired by it because we read recipe and then we figure out what we have, which is the takeaway I want everyone to get from this, really. Read a recipe and then cook what you have. You don't have to go shopping and get everything exactly as it is. But I'll tell you the recipe in case you do. There's nothing wrong with following a recipe. We're just weird. This is pot roasted lamb shank. So it's pot roasted. I call it braising. This is very similar to a braise. So butter, 2 lamb shanks, an onion, 2 turnips, 2 white carrots or parsnips, 2 sticks of celery, a tablespoon of honey, a half a cup of mead, a tablespoon of flour, 2 bay leaves, 2 teaspoons peppercorns, and 4 cups beef stock. We don't have a lot of that, so we're not doing a lot of that. Yeah, we're gonna wing it. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. So what do we have? We have Brussels sprouts, which are like tiny cabbages if you've never actually had them. I know they have a reputation about them that kids don't like them. I never even had them when I was a kid, so I don't know if I would have liked them, but I like them now. So you just want to nip the ends off, because that's the hard part. For this, because it's going to simmer for a couple hours. Goat shanks are I'll show you those in a bit. It's not tons of meat, there's a lot of cartilage and stuff, and you want to kind of break them down. So I'm going to leave our Brussels sprouts whole, so they'll hold up to the braising process or pot roasting process. Some of them might have some rough spots. The nice thing with Brussels sprouts is if they look kind of rough on the outside, you just peel that leaf off, because they are just tiny cabbages, and they're easy to deal with and easy to prep. So we're going to go ahead and prep our Brussels sprouts. And when I'm all done with that, I'll show you what we're doing next. Stay tuned. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is prep our onion. So we have onion, we're going to use onion, Brussels sprouts. I think that's, and some other stuff. We'll see what we can find. So, let's chop our onion. Something I saw on a cooking show that I've always done my whole life, and it was they decided to mention it on this cooking show. I didn't realize it was like a pro tip, but you don't have to peel all your onions. You cut them, and then they're just easier to peel and get the peel off. So there's my tip to you fellas and ladies. Apparently, I'm not trying to big league anybody. It's just something I always done. I figured that out when I was a kid. So that's the thing. So with your onions, just what do they call it? Peasant chop. You're going to do kind of a peasant chop with it. I'm not going super fine. I'm not dicing them. Just a bit of a peasant chop. Half, quarter, chop. That's all. Great thing about this recipe is these onions they're not bad, they're close. So it's a great way to use up onion. Because we're going to end up sauteing those a bit, and then again we're going to cook them for a few hours and everything. So they're going to cook down to nothing anyway. Don't use your good onions. We're going to pat dry our goat shanks. Yes, the recipe I was talking about earlier was lamb shanks. We have goat shanks, because again, our good friends at Windy Hill Goat Farms. Conventional wisdom keeps going back and forth on whether or not you should rinse your meat. I guess it can spread more bacteria than it's worth. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on my mood. I'm just going to throw those in some paper towel, dry them off. You do want them dry. When you're cooking, sauteing, browning off, if you don't dry your meat, then the pan and the heat's trying to do that for you. It's pulling all the liquid, it's dropping the temperature of your pan, and you won't get a good brown on anything. So this whole time I was talking, I should have had my cast iron going already, because they do take longer to heat up. Now, you can, if when you're prepping things, you can throw them in your oven at 200-300 degrees. Look up the actual thing, I'm not 100% sure. And that way they'll be ready to go when you are. We are going to turn this on. Get some butter in there, get that nice and hot, and brown off our goat shanks. Star White. Butter cutters are awesome. Get our tongs. We want to get all the sides of our shanks brown and brown. So, again, we don't have our big kettle when we're indoors. This is our Lodge cast iron. When we started cooking, that's what there was. You use Lodge cast iron. Now there's a lot of other companies doing cast iron. You don't have to get the Lodge. That's what we had. We've had these for a good long time. It's what we cooked with. Let's see. We'll do a little salt and pepper in there. A little bit of our smoked pepper. Fancy pink salt. I don't know what pink salt is, but it seems cool and fancy. We're going to season more later in the whole general overall thing of it. We want to brown. We got kind of a high heat. We're not trying to cook through. We're trying to brown them. Get some of them juices flowing. These shanks are two very oddly different size shanks. Wonder if it's the front and the back. You'd think we would have gotten similar. That doesn't help. Round one. You gotta amuse yourself while you're cooking. Playing a cooking sheet. It's got a lip on it, so any juices that come off, we're gonna pour those right back in there. These brown, these are. You're gonna have to call those good. Get some good juice out of there. Yeah. It's not bad. Pretty golden. Just a piece of it. I couldn't get that little section to go down into the pan. Alright. Now, I'm going to adjust our heat down. Your stove has heat settings. Use them. There we go. Throw our onion in first. Ready to stir around. You want those to soften. What are those? It's translucent. This is starting to sound like an actual cooking channel or some shit. I just watch too many cooking shows. See, I don't know what I'm doing. I can mimic. Pretty good mimic. And I should have let that cool down a little more. Again, cast iron takes a while to cool down. That's the big thing. It holds heat, it retains your heat, which is why this is a good recipe for that. It's also a great way, if you're using cast iron pans and pots a lot, a good way to deglaze them is to throw onions in the bottom. You got goop and whatever the hell you were cooking before in there, chop up an onion, a little butter and onion, it'll pick up whatever flavors are in there, your onions will be delicious, your pot will be nice and clean. Picks up all the BCBs, you know what the BCBs are?
Burnt crispy bits.
Burnt crispy bits, burnt crunchy bits, that's right. Bay leaf blend. This has a fair amount of salt in it, but use a healthy couple pinches of that because we're using liquid, so it should take up the salt. Our, once again, Auntie Arwen's Mount Olympus Bay Leaf Blend with salt. I'm a huge fan of cooking with bay leaves, I'll be honest. I like the bay leaf blend. Yeah, it's got some good green in there, so that's gonna be tasty. Alright. Gonna add in our Brussels. We're going to want an acid in here. Now one thing you'll notice, actually, if you do come take a look at the feet, like even you said, If you got a gas stove, that's kind of what makes this possible. You can do this in any pot. If you want to do Viking cooking in any pot on your stove, that's a big thing I want to show. If you want to use the cast iron, if you got a gas stove, the feet will stick through, you can rest it right on there. Again, it's raining outside. We still want to cook. We like cooking it, and we like cooking for you fine folks. So this is a good way to do it. And we just want everyone else to cook too. I'm going to throw some beer in here because we need an acid. I think this is a sweet beer. It's actually a cherry beer, which they add cherries to help counteract some of that salt and other flavors in there. That's a good one. All right, we'll do that. Now, I'm going to add our shanks back in here. And then we're going to add more liquid and let it cook. The recipe called for mead and beef stock. I don't want to sound like I'm anti-stock. Because of course, everyone likes stock, and a lot of recipes call for it.
Make it a lot.
Well, we make it a lot. We often have stock, and I probably do. Don't cover the chat. I'm going to use water because you can make a lot of delicious things, especially a recipe like this. This is going to cook for a long time. So adding stock to it is kind of superfluous because it's going to make its own stock. You don't need, not everything needs stock, you know. You can just use water. So you want it covered almost all the way with water. This will, this will take a few trips, but it's what I got. You know, usually I have my nice pitcher prepared. I didn't get the pitcher. You know, usually we're cooking outside, we set up everything and we do it ahead of time because no one wants to go back inside. Because we're already inside. You didn't do that. So this is tap water. It's not even bottled water. It's just whatever comes out of your tap. If you got good drinking tap water, make your recipes with water. Not everything needs stock. Even if you're making soup, it's soup. You don't need stock. It is stock. I think that's enough.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's enough. Now, we have the heat on medium. I'm going to put the top on. The great thing about using the cast iron, I do recommend the Dutch oven. It's nice heavy lids. So it's going to keep almost like a pressure cooker. You keep all the good stuff in there. And then I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit. And then you don't touch it for a few hours. So this video is going to be long. So we got that. That's going to be a couple hours. The sauce is going to be a couple hours. I don't know. You guys watch all that. I'm going to go do something else. Okay, bye. Cool down a little more. Again, that's the fun part. You just ramble and pretend like you know what you're doing, and these people watch it.
Do you want me to mention what we're doing in the rest of the video, or leave this kind of standalone?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I'm gonna make a roasted leg of lamb. It was already deboned and needed to be used up, so waste not, want not. I came up with a thought on the fly. Our fresh raspberry bush is in full produce mode, so we've got tons of fresh raspberries. Our mint is monstrous, so I thought I would stuff this leg of lamb with some mint and berries, tie it up, stick it in the oven to roast. Maybe I'll put something on the outside for a different savory flavor on the outside. I'm gonna start. Yeah, these berries are pretty mushy because these I actually picked yesterday, and raspberries go pretty quick. Well, I have unintentionally made a smushed raspberry jam, which will work quite nicely, I think. So I'm just gonna layer some raspberries inside. I feel a little bit like Julia Child here. She was always making a mess in a good way in the kitchen. I think the berry juice is going to go really nice with the flavor of the lamb. Could be wrong, but it seems to me like that's a good idea. And we got monster mint leaves. Don't know why they are mutant sized, but they are.
What's that beverage? That looks local.
This is Brunch by Willow Rock Brewing. It is delicious. We randomly picked it out at a fabulous new brew store we just found. And it turns out it's made right here in our hometown by Willow Rock Brewing. And it also features Recess Coffee, which is one of our favorite coffee places to pick up local coffee beans.
Gotta pimp the hometown.
It was fun picking something random off a shelf that sounded intriguing and then finding out it was from right in our own backyard. I have a lot of mint. I'm going to end up having to dry some in the basement, I do believe. Maybe it's not going to be pretty, but that's okay. Yeah, that'll work. I think. But the other way is going to end up being too thick. I guess it doesn't matter. It's going to roast in the oven, right?
Mm-hmm. It'll roast through, I'm sure. Or it won't.
Or what? Well, lamb is also good rare, so. There.
That's the great thing, like you said, about us. We just try it and see what works. If it doesn't work, we'll unroll it and throw it in a pan or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So then I'm going to tie this roast so it stays together, and hopefully we can make it a little more even so it cooks evenly. We're going to do it in the oven. We could do it outside, but it's not just not things to do today. Don't get me wrong, I can't see how many other but I have to. So I'm going to. Usually it's a chicken. I could chicken outside. It needs a little bit. I know extra tiny roast. I know there's a magic to it.
You're not there.
This is good. I think it's very well. But every time I watch that, I remember.
Make sure the camera's starting. Oh,
And the everybody's on the floor.
that's right.
Tiny bit ants. It's tricky, but it's not. Wait, sometimes it's just, it's heavy. So I just want a rig. Because it's heavy hold after a while.
Oh, yeah, but they have rigs. I don't. We have a handle for this.
Here. That's not so bad. Cut off our extra string. Always make sure to use cotton twine if you are 100% cotton twine if you are baking with string.
Can usually find it. I think they sell it as butcher's twine.
Yeah, they sell it as
Easier
butcher's
to find
twine
it as butcher's twine
in your grocery store.
Again, just another Viking-ish thing, Viking-inspired recipe that you can do at home.
Yeah, this is definitely just randomly Viking inspired. Said it was something that had to be used, and we don't like to waste anything. So perfect. That fits nicely in the pan. All right. So then we'll stick it in the oven. I don't know, for maybe an hour.
350, you think?
Probably. 350 for an hour. You can always temp it. Off the top of my head, I don't know lamb temperatures. I'd have to look them up. We like lamb pretty rare. Of course, you do want to make sure it is cooked enough. But, you know, if it gets a nice golden brown color, it should be done. My hands are all jammy.
Ah, jammy hands. Wash them jammy hands. You're gross. Here we go. Got a lot going on this counter. Ignore the clutter and the mess. Yeah. Breaking the movie magic. There's the sausages. Oh no. I'll edit this all into one video. You know what we're doing. Here we are. Here's our clutter. Here's our mess. Deal with it.
Cooking day gets messy. Deal with it.
Cooking day. That's the fun. Alright. So we've pulled our lamb.
The lamb roast has come out of the oven, and it smells very jammy and delicious. I'm pretty pleased with it. I temped it. It should be about 145, I think, in the middle. So that is rested a little bit. Once it's we're ready, we'll cut the twine and slice it on up.
All right.
Now we're gonna check on the goat shanks.
It smells good.
Mystery. Ooh.
Are they falling off the bone?
It seems like it. Now these didn't have a ton of meat on them. They sure seem like they're starting to fall off the bone. I mean, they definitely shrunk a lot.
Oh, that's tender.
Yeah, this one's definitely tender. So we want to pull those from the pot.
Yeah.
Let's put this over here because it's molten lava hot.
Now again, if you're doing this at home, you don't need to use the cast iron. You can do this in any heavy duty pot you have. It's all in what you serve it in. Now we're just gonna throw this into
just a glass Pyrex pan for now.
Pyrex for the win.
I don't like putting super hot food into woodenware. I don't always trust the origin of the coatings for extremely hot food.
But if you have a good platter or a good metal
nice
platter.
metal platter, ceramic, certainly. For ease of use, we're going to just scoop this. Ooh, this broth smells really nice too. We're gonna scoop this just right into our metal pan or our glass dish because it's what we have.
Do I smell turnips in there?
No.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Brussels sprouts and onion. And that's what we had. The recipe did call for turnips. We didn't have
It
turnips.
did.
Oh.
We happen to have Brussels sprouts that really needed a use, so. But not terribly out of period. You could have used cabbage. And these held up very nicely, actually, for how long they were braising. I thought they might be quite mushy. And they might be a little mushy, but they're not falling apart. And this broth looks fabulous.
Smells good. Nutritious and delicious.
Yeah, food anyway.
We'll see how it tastes when we're done.
I like Brussels sprouts.
I do too. That's always the mystery.
I don't mind them. It depends on how they're done.
Anyone want to try the lamb, Deli? Rooski?
I will try some lamb. Trim will try some lamb. So I've already cut our jammy lamb.
Or lamb jam?
Our lamb jam.
Oh, Black Betty, lamb jam. Oh, Black Betty, lamb.
I know that Ruslan is not a huge fan. Would you like to try a small bite?
I will try a small bite.
So that's a minty jammy
Possible.
piece. So this is the raspberries and mint.
Definitely minty. Definitely get
You got a good piece of mint there. But I don't like lamb a lot. So what do you think?
It's true. I don't like lamb very much as a general rule, but I'll be having more of that.
Well, good.
That is actually that is lamb I can eat.
Yeah, I think it could use a little bit less cook time, but the jam adds a nice flavor.
Yeah, it's got a really nice flavor. Like I said, I got a big piece of mint with that, so the mint was definitely strong. I think with a less piece of mint, nothing would really be overpowering each other. It's good balance of flavor. It's good lamb,
Let's see what Trim thinks.
and I don't like lamb.
You can have this little piece. Are you ready? Can I have a paw?
Good boy.
Oh, so good. Trim also approves.
Trim approves.
Trim's upset there's not more.
Good boy, Trim.
Good job, buddy. Would you like a fork?
Well, I already dirtied this up. So.
Well, I meant so you had both. The goat is fabulous. I snuck a little piece.
Burning me.
Oh. You're like a child.
That goat.
You know where I am.
The goat's delicious. Dip it in the berry sauce. I was the cook in the kitchen. I snuck a taste. The goat and the berry sauce, also delicious.
Goat and berry sauce.
And that leg has a really good
The
flavor.
fried sausage is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't
The Brussels are also
really taste that different than the boiled.
boiled? It's not too surprising.
No.
I
Well-
think if we had fried them from the beginning on a low heat, I don't think they'd taste all that different, but they are
A little
quite a little more
different,
caramelized flavor.
Yeah. Alright. This is the goat.
That's the goat leg. Try it. Just a little piece. Try it.
I generally do not like goat,
Just
but
try
I
it.
will.
Humor me.
I'm gonna humor you. What's a good piece to chop off for me?
Actually, try this one.
Try
Like,
this.
just cut a little. If you can get a little side bit off. Don't cut the bone. There's not tons of meat on it. Like that. That's perfect. I think it came out really good. It definitely tastes like goat.
Tastes like goat.
It tastes like goat. Now the burger meat we get from the same farm is a more mild flavor, but it comes from a different part of the goat. The leg is a much darker flavor. It's like a turkey. You
Yeah.
know, the breast tastes different from the leg.
If you like goat, I'm sure that's good. I don't like goat.
That's
I don't
fine.
like goat, and I would eat that.
Now I want to cook
It
you
just
goat.
wouldn't be my first choice.
I want to cook you goat burgers now. Someday we will.
I'll hurt your feelings when I spit them out.
That's all right. I won't be offended. But the burger, and I'm not quite sure what he makes the meat. What constitutes the burger?
The
Yeah.
surprising thing in the goat burger is how moist it gets,
It's very moist.
and it doesn't taste like goat.
No, it's
So-
very moist and it's very mild. That tastes a lot more like I expect goat to taste.
Yeah, lamb.
But I think it's really delicious.
The lamb is good. I
You like
actually
lamb?
just went back after another piece of lamb.
Yay! All right.
Good.
Perfect.
If you like goat, the goat's good.
Yeah.
Sausages are sausages. No?
Yeah, they taste like
They
sausage.
taste like
They're good.
sausages.
And a rough chop on them.
They do.
Rough grind, so
They're a more
that's
rustic
more
sausage.
period. Yeah, they're good. We'll try smoking a bunch. Probably do. That's what we'll do. So, gotta give some to Ma, and we'll smoke the rest.
See
Like
what it
travel
tastes like.
sausage and
Yeah.
smoked
I
sausage.
mean, I'm a really picky eater, and there's nothing here that I wouldn't eat. I just would not go
You
for
try
the.
Brussels sprout?
I wouldn't go for the goat. You know.
Hey, if
First
you, normally,
choice, but-
if you normally don't like lamb, but you like that lamb, that's a win.
No, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a win. Done.
I would
Call
eat
a
that.
win if you'd eat it.
The sausages
Call
are
that a
good.
win.
I'd eat those.
That's
The
pork.
goat.
Yep.
Hopefully you enjoy it. If not, let me know why you didn't. I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll rant at everybody about something else at some point. Like, I'll rant about cast iron. I almost got in that cast iron rant, but I'm gonna let it go. Watch some cooking. Cheap to know.
Unexplained roots wandering through. Ooh. Ooh. Don't film that.
Oh, we got that.
Ah, fuck.